Hey everybody, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 5, and we're continuing to cast the upper bracket here. This is the, I think, last round of no. This is one of the last round of 16 games we have to cast, but I think there's also Shrike versus Castle K-Side, which we'll be doing right after. Is that true? No. That's actually a quarterfinal. Okay. So this is the last round of 16 match that we have to cast then, which is pretty fun. Gonna be between Kitsune with the exclamation point, :3, which is Japanese for fox, by the way, if you didn't know. Is it not quarterfinal? Oh, it was labeled as such. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's fine. Between him and Orbnet over here, who of course you'll recognize from the DOK scene if you've been around on the Discord for a while, but this is, I believe, his first tournament. I think we cast 1 or 2 games of his, I think, in the group stage, but this will be his first upper bracket performance right here, and I expect him to win this one pretty well. I think he's going to be doing really well in this matchup, but you never know. A lot of players, like for instance Big Eel in Car Cup 13, I was like, yeah, he's not really that good, is he? And then he nearly beat me in one of the games, so you never know. But I would say Orbnet has the advantage here. Unfortunately, we have no info.txt included with us, so we can't exactly surmise much about bans and picks and whatever, but I am pretty sure Orb was the lower seed, though, so Kitsune would have picked this map, and Orb will have picked the next two, whatever they happen to be. And then Kitsune 4th, Orb 5th. Nothing terribly surprising about faction picks. I know Kitsune's always been a Soban player. He's one of the fanboys, you know. I think if your name means something in Japanese and you're not playing Soban, there's something suspicious, you know what I mean? Because that seems like the kind of thing that you would do if you were also like an anime fanboy. Does that make sense? I don't know. Somehow that just makes sense to me. Orbnet just doing SC first, expanding into his second right here. No probe though. Now we've seen this from him before. Probe, by the way, actually from Kitsune, gonna see the support cruiser, but it does get sniped. If Kitsune was really paying attention, he may also have noticed that there was no base runner there, but I'm not sure. But as for him, I'm really worried because he's clearly not really doing much. AV tech is coming out, but of course this is quite late. You can actually have the first AV hitting the field at this timing rather than the tech starting, so I'm a little bit worried for Kitsune then, because this could obviously be a really good opportunity to rush Orbnet. He doesn't have anything at home to defend at all, so you imagine if an AAV came over here. No scouting, by the way. This is the first scouting unit of the game. And so, if an AAV came trundling in right here, he'd be like, ah, shoot. You know, like, that's definitely not going to be a good time for Orbnet, who himself is taking AV Fab and carry production coming up here. But yeah, Kitsune looks like he's just really missed that window. Carry production coming up for him as well. Turned the music off for a second there. Second probe coming out, wants to see the tech. This base runner going to get the extraction, nothing to stop that exactly. But if it's AV versus AV, 1 production slot or 2 production slots versus 2 production slots, I definitely would favor the guy who's got 2 base rather than 1. He's doing the build. Yes, he is. I think what A-Game is talking about is we played a bunch of 1v1s, he and I, like a couple nights ago or something, and I was like really sucking, so I couldn't punish this. This is like a very punishable build, but I couldn't do it somehow. It was pretty meh. I'm feeling. Are you saying it's not punishable? It's suicide. Oh. Is that so? Retiring the base runner? Huh. Maybe I feel a little bit less dejected about failing 2 nights ago. By the way, Armor 1 definitely should be teched at this timing. He had seen the, he saw AV, so he kind of knows that they're out, but it looks like he didn't want the upgrade. He's also going to take a little bit of high ground here from Kitsune, yeah. Kitsune going to jump right on that one. So Armor 0 against Armor 0, that should be a fight that Orb loses unless he smokes out. But then he's going to have to go back and reheal. Although I suppose they're both kind of trading for pretty equal damage. Now it's Kitsune who really wants to be smoking out, but he's not doing it. These AVs just going to smash him out. Oh, and we do have armor 1. And this is what I was talking about earlier. We have 2 production slots for both players, but I mean, count them up, boys. There's a lot more AAVs on the green side than the red one. And that's because he's on 2 base. And you can't really... You know, you can't really match AV production if you're on 1 base like that. And obviously, the way that Kitsune played this, he could have gone SC first, but he kind of just chose not to. So it's a bit of a sad thing here, but you know, you never know. There could still be some cool plays coming. He does have that targeting jammer ready to go. Quite a bit of float too, so he could start making a sport cruiser right now if he wanted one. And it looks like that is what he's just begun to build there. Units lost tab looks even here, although there was of course also a probe snipe that happened. But this is armor 2 now for Orb. Only armor 1 for Kitsune. Of course, that still doesn't allow you to win without the numbers advantage, but you can tell he's going to be trading well in both of these fights. Told you he underestimated you the first game. He'd never seen you play before. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're definitely new to the tournament scene. And I think Kitsune is one of the guys who watches a lot of replays, but of course he wouldn't have seen this. Logistics module going to get targeted here, but the ALM is good. The targeting jammer is good too. Good smoke though, just trying to keep himself alive a little bit. But actually, if I were Kitsune, I'd be pushing... Oh, I see. He's got to back away to deal with these guys. That is relevant. That is valid. Assault Cruiser Fab teching for Orbnet very quickly. And Kitsune going to have to tech into Rail Fab, of course, to stop this. Not that Rail Fab is a trap or anything, but this could be pretty bad if Orbnet has got just overwhelming numbers, which right now it seems like he definitely will. And the second SC is on the way too. So this is a really pretty textbook play actually for Orb. So I'm liking this. This is quite good. Looks like he targeted that base runner, not going to get the kill though. And actually these AVs are doing a pretty good job now of holding the field for Kitsune. 120 by 2. Yeah, so it looks like they're doing 120 minus 22 per shot, so like 100. Of course, you'll notice, by the way, because I'm playing with the DLLs that A-Game gave me, this epic damage info right here, which tells you the number of packets that a shot has as well. Or a shot has as well. Yeah, packets are basically like, it only shoots once, but armor will affect it that many times. So if it has a 1 there, like the AVs have a 1 there, so it just isn't reported. But if it's something with packets, it'll have like the little number there. And that tells you that it actually has twice the effect from armor rather than just 1. For example, I think strike fighters were given packets as well to make them a little bit less insane. And by the way, it looks like Kitsune is doing pretty okay here, actually. He's managed to get up onto 2 base. But his opponent is up on 3. So if Kitsune is doing okay, I'd say Orbnet is doing great. He has held though. He's not already dead. And actually by this metric he should be somewhat ahead on the units lost tab, but of course we know that he doesn't have as much eco, so that's usually a little bit misleading. No, you can play in vanilla too. It won't cause desyncs or anything. It also removes the shadows if you have low graphics settings. Like you can see there's no shadows here, and that's been quite nice for my frame rate as well. Here come a bunch of AVs coming to chomp up this LAV, but he did a good job scouting that guy. This base runner just gonna try to get away. It looks like he wants to kind of backdoor him a little bit. But here comes a assault cruiser. And obviously that's going to be a pretty handy counter to these AVs, which certainly don't want to fight with that. Now we do have railguns for Kitsune, no Mag Excel, you wouldn't expect that. It's really expensive tech is all I mean by that. We have 2 ACs out on the field. I know he got AC anti-air, which, yeah, favorite tech. So I'm glad he got that. And he's spamming these things, oh my goodness. He's actually already got 3 of them out on the field. How'd the last game go in our series? Well, I probably shouldn't tell you, because this is going to go up on YouTube. It'll be cast later today, though, so you'll just have to wait and find out, eh? But this is the first of the series between Orbnet and Kitsune, so that's kind of nice for you. But this is a lot of freaking ACs here, so Kitsune definitely going to lose a base runner. Down he goes. And now he's got to defend against these ACs, and he's got 4 railguns. But oh no, it looks like he tried to expand off of this timing. Fighter and gunship also not going to work, because like I said, he's already got that anti-air tech. Which, by the way, I think was a very good choice right there. Yeah, this is going to be a really hard hold. I think Orbnet probably has it in the bag right now, actually, because these rails here are a good counter to ACs, but only when they have like time to shoot at them. And you need quite a few, because ACs, of course, have a pretty high hit point pool as well. About the same as a base burner, actually. Although they have more armor, of course. And so, you know, these 2 ACs, if you want to whittle them down, you have to have all the rails here, and then, you know, these 2 will just push in. Same with this side of the field as well. Which is where these rails are going to get committed, but that's the problem over here, of course. And this AC here may be lost, but honestly, Orb can probably save it if he hits the overcharge and just backs off at this timing. Smoke is a bit off too for this AC here. So yeah, definitely he just wants to hit E and just kind of back out. But I mean, the value that this thing has got, even if it does die here, is huge, because obviously it just allowed, you know, all of this to freaking happen. So SC goes down, main base salves are all pulled off the line. We're going to lose a bunch of ALMs too. And this is 4 ACs. I don't know if these rails have any chance of killing them, really. Like, they need more lead-up time, especially with no mag excel. They are sub-on rails. But I don't know. It's gonna be difficult. I think this, like, or honestly could just, like... Yeah, he's got the ability in all of them. Just, like, spam E and just run in, and I think he could honestly just win. Although, I don't mind him playing this a little bit safer, too. This AC was healing, actually. So he's a little bit out of position, it looks like. SC's getting spammed now from Orb, so definitely he's planning on moving his carrier out. Power 3 on the way too. He's already got an artifact and power 2, so he's got quite a bit of power in this carrier already. And this AC actually is going to sneak out of here, it looks like. They are actually not as fast as railguns, but almost. He is going to get go down, it looks like. And here comes the carrier, powered up with power 3. Pretty much done as well. This is a little bit of a late move out. You see he pulled this SC forward. I think he actually misrallied that one. So I think he could kind of be like here with his carrier already. But this is still going to be really strong. And again, Kitsune, what does he do to stop this? He's not even fully saturated on his second. He's got like 1 base RU income. Ooh. Yikes. I mean, definitely at that point, the thing to do is to take these 2 RU miners and send them over here. And in fact, you probably need more, so you could reassign 2 of the CU guys to long distance mine the RUs there as well. But this is going bad for a number of reasons, I guess I will say. We do have strike fighters on the way here, but I mean, like I mentioned before, he's already got, you know, anti-air on these ACs. AV gonna get a little chunked by this turret as well. Smokes himself out. And of course, as Orbnet had done before, does a little bit of poke on that side, and then he just kind of pops it over here to see if he can get some value. This is really textbook AC play. Although actually, he could even be pushing a little bit forward right now too. But he's just going to instantly jib all the salves there. Overcharge going to be used. These guys are just going to fly out of there. I like that choice. In fact, it's really pretty cool for him to save it until after he had left. And then the strike fighters come to do their thing, but just instantly get chunked. Skadoosh. Oh look, he actually... Oh, he overshot the carrier by just a little bit there. He was close, you know. He nearly made it. He nearly made it. And we got BCs on the field now as well. And of course, BCs... Actually, I thought they had like twice the hit point pool of ACs, but they actually don't. It's like barely even 700 more. Wow. That's kind of interesting to know. But these BCs are still going to be pretty strong, I assume. Power 5 on the way too. Oh no, Wuji, not this again. Descriptivism above all, that's what I say. I do, by the way, also very much appreciate Orb's colors. If you recall, I went through a bit of a phase where I was trying to figure out what color scheme I wanted to use about like 6 months ago or something, and this was one that I had picked. It wasn't green on black though, it was like green on darker green. Green on black is pretty cool though. If you didn't know, green is actually my favorite color. But not this kind of green, more like this kind of green. Yeah. You know why? It's because we realized it was completely unnecessary and didn't actually give any phonetic information. So we just dropped it. It's called efficiency. BCs are out now. He's actually targeting the ALM, but the area of effect is still going to chunk the carrier. Here comes the cruise missile as well. Oh, Kitsune trying to dodge it here. It's not going to get any rails, maybe just one it looks like, but that's okay. And this is a pretty good sledgehammer. Why use many word and few word do trick? Yeah, good point, A-game. But this is a very heavily powered carrier. It's really just nothing to stop this. I mean, he doesn't have the damage to damage these cruisers as they come in. And Kitsune, bless his heart, gonna try to the very end, even launching the SF, doing everything that he can here, but that carrier will go down. Also, Roby, I dreamed of having a dark green car for like so long. I can't believe it. You and me are so similar in some ways. His Americanness is rubbing off. Well, yeah, of course we don't need Q. It's a dumb letter. Q is only useful if you have to pronounce the noise, which we don't have in English, of course, so... I think Q is stupid. Should be deleted. Let's get on into game 2 here. Give me tight end passage, that's interesting. This is Orbnet's pick, right? That's kind of what I meant, Houston. Like, oh man. Wow, you have American accent. I will say this, A-Game's English is like amazingly good. Like, I feel like he knows it better than me. So, can't say much about that. I feel like if you learn English in another country, you almost speak it better. You know what I mean? I want to observe Orb's build this time. Oh, yikes. He had a bit of a BR retire issue. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, there you go. And now he's ready for SC already. This is really, I mean, this is a really fast SC first timing, but like, I don't know. That's interesting, A-Game. I wonder if that's true. Maybe another one of those things they tacked on to try and make Saban less trash before. As for Kitsune, we mentioned last game he definitely had underestimated his opponent, but the question is, what is he going to go for this time? It's LEV Feb first. And so, yeah, okay, there you go. It's early AV. And this is still not in optimal timing, but it's still pretty fast. And this is no BR retire, so this main base is really, really vulnerable. So Kitsune taking this a lot more seriously. Heh, Stuart. I don't want to talk about the mods in HW because there's some nonsense going on over there, but like I have this really awesome GIF too, like this guy with his hand on a table, he's like wheeze, you know, and he like bounces back and forth and whatever. But golly, they will not accept that one either. AV Fab done for Kitsune. Of course, what I want to see is him making them immediately, and there they go. Alright, that's good. If he sends them here, that would actually be the ideal, because he doesn't want to pass by the carrier. Obviously, I mean, he can actually probably do damage to this base, maybe, but... This is the one that's really vulnerable, and it's because there's no base runner here. That's what he wants to do, and Orbnet getting a second SC before any tech with no probe. This is like... This is really gutsy right here. Oh my. I'm worried this base runner might actually be a bit of a trap for Kitsune. I don't think it can extract with one LAV, pinging it here. Plinking it here, that's what I meant to say. But he probably shouldn't commit AAVs to this. He needs to be getting damage in, because his opponent is doing like a crazy good job of just being a greedy mofo, I guess. And so, if he doesn't stop this, this is going to be a huge issue. So he really needs to get down there and do some damage, but... It looks like he is going to commit it down to the base runner, which is a bit difficult. And he is gonna get the he's gonna get the extract out here, but now these AVs are in a bit of an odd position. In fact, you know, it looks like maybe this base runner could have just extracted without that. I actually didn't think it could. Extraction zones, of course, a bit funky on this map. You sort of have to look at them from like the top down to really understand like where they are, because obviously otherwise it looks like he's not actually in it. At some point, the best defense against eco harass is to just have too much eco to harass. I like your style, Orb. I like your style. And this is pretty late from Kitsune here. AVs are out for Orb, and he's gonna defend. Yikes, Amundo. This is pretty bad, man. BC Fab coming out immediately from Kitsune. I wonder what the reasoning for this call is here. But Orb, geez, he's gonna have anything that he wants right now. Imagine having 3 idle workers in DOK in case your eco gets damaged. Alpha Star moves. Well, you know, they don't call it Beta Star. I think it knows what it's doing. I think it's just some legendary strat that we haven't considered before. By the way, worth noting that Orbnet has got the upgrade advantage right now too, as well as the numbers advantage on the field here. So this is really bad. Like, he's just, I don't know, he's just managed to get everything he wants right now. It gets that base burner too. I mean, he's on 3 base before his opponent has even fully saturated his second, and BC Fab gonna start for him too. I mean, hey, if your opponent's gonna make BCs off of 2 base, just make BCs off of 3 base and beat him, right? The Detpack gang. Dude, I would love to see Alpha Star playing DOK. Like, that would honestly be so much fun. Just the things that it would do, they would, like, blow our minds, I'm sure of it. Orbnet, by the way, kind of a little bit overcommitting here. I know he wanted to secure that kill, but probably losing the AV in the first place is a bit of an overcommit into this Savon carrier, which is very well powered up. But speaking of overcommits, Kitsune can defend with this carrier, but he's, like, spamming all these ALMs, and I think he lost 2 of them there, so... You have to factor in, like, an extra 500 at the units lost tab here, which is already not really looking good for him, so... You know what I say about ALM spam? By the way, Smoke could have gone up to save that AV. It looks like Kitsune had that idea, but he didn't go for it. SC Anti-Air coming out for Orbnet as well. A fine choice, I think. And I wonder if Kitsune is already building BCs with this carry production upgrade. Like, that kind of astounds me there, because obviously he's not got the money for even one of them yet. So I don't know why he's trying to increase his production here. DOK Micro would be too complex for Alpha Star. Maybe, but I mean, StarCraft 2 Micro is really complex, right? I don't know, I feel like Alpha Star could pick it up. First BCs are actually going to come out for Orbnet here, I'm pretty sure. You can see he's banking up the, yeah, he's banking up some money for these BCs, and Kitsune really isn't. You can see he's not building anything now. Maybe at this timing he's looking for BC fab, but again he's teching like upgrades and stuff, which is really not what he wants to do. So this is gonna be really rough for Kitsune. He got this really expensive tech. Like I think it's 300 CUs and 550 RUs or something like that, or maybe they're flipped. Yeah, they're probably flipped. That sounds insane. But he hasn't built them. And again, they'd be really nice here too, because they're obviously a very hard counter to AAVs, but... Well, I do that so I can flip to it. I've got a button to flip to orbs, now I have a button to flip to Kitsunes as well. This is like how I cast things. Dang, that is an oh yeah, it's 550 RUs, isn't it? No, it's 300 RUs, okay. Maybe it's 550 CU then. At any rate, it's a very expensive tech here, and Kitsune is not really doing anything with it. That makes me pretty nervous. Oh, yeah, we don't see the players' control groups at all. That's another thing that might be kind of interesting, but it would make it hard for me to do this kind of stuff, so... Oh, wait a minute, I take it back. He actually does have BC on the field. I don't know how this thing managed to build under my nose, but... However, I will teach you a lesson, friends. 2 is a bigger number than 1. And I think that's going to be really relevant here. Oh, that's what's so different about them. Look at this. The Saban BC is like a lot faster, actually, than the Coalition one. Interesting. Anyway, this is a high ground fight. On paper should be pretty good for Kitsune, but of course he's just outnumbered here. Does get a good smoke off. Also, worth noting, by the way, Coalition BCs definitely by far have more damage output than Saban ones. And so down he goes. Nice shot, Will. Interesting that killing a carrier won't get these guys up to Vet 1, but killing a BC will. It's interesting. But it looks like these BCs don't want to chase carrier. No, it looks like they do. And they are faster, by the way, by 4. So, eventually he'll catch these guys. SC actually really getting harassed down here. But yeah, they've caught the carrier now. They're on high ground. That's pretty much a wrap. I mean, it doesn't really matter what happens anywhere else now. Although I'd like to point out, for as much damage as Kitsune can do, Orb is up here as well. And yeah, that's why I had him on Group 1 there. Yikes. Ouchie mama. Kitsune just gonna get dumped by battle cruisers there. Again, like, he had the tech first. And honestly, it's a really interesting thing. There's a lot of high ground you can get on this map. Like, if I leave my BCs, like, here, let's say, right? Like, one there and then one there or something, I should be almost invulnerable to AV. And BCs are going to have a really hard time attacking, too, because I've got the range. And I'm faster than him. I can kite him as well. Saban BCs, of course, the only ones I believe that can kite like that. Because apparently they're faster. I actually didn't know that until just now. But, he just didn't build him, you know? And of course, his opponent was on much better eco too, so he would have been able to make more probably, but still. It's a bit of a yikes. Let's load up game 3 here. The thing is, he had the right idea for how to punish this eco opener, but he didn't execute it properly either, so... There's a lot of places where that could have gone really well for Kitsune, but... Alas. I think he kind of got stomped there. Let's check out game 3 though, potentially the last. Again, going to be Orbnet's pick, and it's going to be Firebase Krill. By the way, Orbnet, no info.txt. Oh, you what? Oh, there's an announcement from Lynx. Oh, so they actually used Unity. For shipbreakers. Orbnet's next replay pack is perfect. I think that's a bit of a spoiler. Although, I've got to say, we were sort of expecting that at this point. It's whatever, it's whatever. This is definitely kind of going out of Kitsune's hands here, so I'm not I'm not too miffed about that. Same build from Orbnet here. This one had a bit of a cleaner BR retire, so I think he actually could have, I think Orbnet actually could have gotten the SC timing a little bit faster. Hey, no, not so, Orb. I told stream that I knew how many games there were, but I didn't say what the number was. Could have been 5. It's fine though. I guess we'll see how Orbnet manages to win this game then. LEV Fab though, here's the thing. Here's the real big problem I think for Kitsune is that he's not going for SC first, right? And yet LEV Fab is coming out for like almost the same timing for both of these players here. So I don't know. This is pretty rough. Like it seems like he just doesn't totally have a grasp on the build orders yet. And one thing I've noticed, by the way, I feel like Orb is not Orb isn't quite like he's not using eco rally points. That's one thing that's kind of interesting to me. I wonder if he just doesn't need him, or like I don't know. By the way, you actually I think you can get your SC timings perfect if you just do a bit of quick drop. Thing is, you don't memorize the bar length, you memorize the stack number, right? And so if you don't retire the base runner, for instance, you're going for 2950, and then you drop. But it's actually pretty easy to count the bars too, because if you just remember how much is in them, like yeah, this guy holds 50, this guy holds 20, and so you can just sort of guess from the bar as well. That's why you'll see me do quick drops where I have like one RU that I still need, and I'm like, ah shoot, and then I'll do it again. I think it does, but like really marginally, unless you have inefficiency where your guys have to move in order to drop. So I think quick dropping is actually really good in this game. It's something that I wish more people would do, because I'm pretty sure it's more valuable than they're expecting. By the way, Orb, not going to try to eco cheese this time, he's going straight up to AV Fab instead. Carry production on the way as well, it's going to be nice for him. But it looks like Kitsune went SC first too. Definitely a slower timing though, because of course I've mentioned this before, but if you get LAV Fab and then the SC, you're really hurting yourself. Unless you make a couple of LAVs, and then maybe you're looking for like some pressure or something like that, but LAVs are a bit weak, I think, in CVC generally, so that's probably not worth it. So I think you really just need to get that SC first. Either do it first or do it last, but don't do it in the middle. Base runner getting chewed up a little bit here again from Orbnet. And again, Kitsune very aggressive with these BRs. He wants to get these out. But this time I think Orbnet is going to be able to stop him, maybe? He's got 2 anyway. And 2 is more than 1. We learned that last game. So perhaps he's got the DPS to win this now. It's interesting, by the way, the LAV does exactly like multiples of 5 of damage to this thing. Because it's got 2 armor. But the thing is, they do 10 damage per shot in that case. I'm not sure how he's managing to do 5. Oh, high ground, right? It's probably high ground. A little bit of micro here maybe could have stopped this extract. He could have like gotten up onto some high ground and then held position there, because you can see this is pretty close. But as it stands, it looks like this is going to get out. Of course, Kitsune wasn't exactly trying to stop it either. He didn't use the targeting jammers, so maybe that was just destined to make it. But the base runner does extract. Orbnet taking to BC Fab again really quickly. And another SC is out already, so I thought he wasn't eco cheesy, but this is still pretty strong eco right here. And like how he feels safe doing this, I don't know, because again, no probe, he's got LAVs to scout for the BR, but there could have been like 5 AVs chilling right here, so this is extremely gutsy, but I don't know, he believes, and I think it's going to pay off for him here. What I really want to see from Kitsune is don't power up the aliens, power up the weapons and the range. And don't just spam these things, right? Just have, like, as many as you had, you know, and then use the carrier to defend. But the gunship is out here. And Orb doesn't exactly have any answer to this. SCAA actually getting teched. You didn't think he'd be aggressive if he had a probe. I guess that's actually true, because usually you're not gonna keep the BR and use, like... You're not gonna keep the BR and have something else, like, AVs or whatever. By the way, pretty decent splitting here for Orb. It could be a little bit better. You can see these guys both taking damage, but he only loses 1 self, so I think that's totally fine. Writes down potential mind game versus Orb. Actually, you know what? There's like really redonk things that you could do where you would just like retire the BR instantly. By the way, smoke, that's the thing. Ah, no smoke. Alas, he is going to lose his self there, but and again, another ALM plopped down. This is really a big cost for Sylvan players when they choose to do that kind of stuff, and that was completely unnecessary. He was going to get this kill anyway, so Bozo disapproves of you. But yeah, what you could do actually is like retire the base runner, like right at the start, right? But throw the probe out as you retire it, and then do an AV rush, and then he just kills him. I think maybe it can get punished with an AV rush. Or are you talking about like for Saban? Because the thing is, if he's playing Coalition like this, yes, he's definitely like he should be just dead if he does that without scouting with a probe at all. Whereas if you do this as Soban, like I understand it could actually be pretty safe still, but you would have to just throw out that probe first, and you're retiring the BR anyway, so like you're going to get more value out of retiring the BR than keeping it anyway, but you're also going to have a probe now, so... Yeah, this is exactly what Agam is saying. So when you see one base rushes, what you're kind of supposed to do actually is get back to one base yourself until you can hold it. Because the idea there is that your opponent is on one base too, so you're not falling behind if you don't have two base going. And if you do have two base going, you might lose some units, like lose some eco and stuff. So that's the reasoning for why it still is valuable to scout even if you're doing SC first. By the way, I want to mention Kitsune has this gunship out, and again, I always talk about how I think gunship openings are a little bit overrated. Imagine a gunship and like 2 strike fighters, right? Not a huge investment. Like he had the money for it. And by the way, this gunship gonna go down now to the support cruiser anti-air fire. It actually lives, but it's gonna die to the next one. But the gunship and like 2 strike fighters would have gotten 3 salvager kills instead of 1, and that would definitely have been worth it. So. Oh no. This guy, he just ran like from here all the way back to there. That's pretty meh. Well, I don't know. LAV rush isn't viable, I think, because of the turret. Honestly, you could still die to that. Like lose a bunch of you could still lose a bunch of like salves, to be honest. Can we get some pogfish? Actually, no, Garmulator didn't do LAVs in CBC. He would do AV instead. It's kind of interesting. Chad is having this really cerebral conversation while I'm trying to cast. It makes it difficult. I don't know what to put my attention on. By the way, no mag excel. So again, this carry sledgehammer is gonna work, I think. There's no power. He's only got like 1 extract, but he really just needs to tank damage with these things anyway. And these ALMs are kind of annoying for the BC, I guess, but like. No, so when Garmulator and Discara would play, he would do, because I believe he would do LAV versus other Coalition players just because they weren't as good. By the way, excellent backstab by Kitsune, that's really wise, but... Oh my gosh, this is a lot of rails. Actually, you know what, this could maybe work out for Kitsune here. But I think attacking the carrier is a bit of a trap in some ways. Well... He's got it down to like a 1/3. The thing is, these BCs are still really scary. He doesn't want to push for the kill. This would be an overextend to push for the kill, especially he doesn't even have Mag Excel, and he's going to do it. Gets him into range of these BCs. Oh no. That's really bad. This is what I was worried about, because if he pushes up to try and like finish off the carrier, you know, now the BCs are just going to own him. Yeah, you're definitely right, Agan, because you got like all these targets with these huge hit point pools, and you're like, huh, which one do I want to go for? Getting the carrier was actually good because he took it down to really low HP, but then he pushed it in. That was a really big mistake. So he needs to like back up, but I don't know. First base has been pushed off of now, but let's see what his backstab managed. Oh, yikes. I can see a smoke dissipating too. It wasn't orbs though, so these guys are just kind of here on defensive duty. But by the way, this is just buying time for the AV to heal, so this isn't really good either. You know, Shrike, you might be right. This might be like the one case where ALM spam is actually good. It's a little bit of crowd control to try and deal with that, but... Well, Soban BCs are faster too, but like, their kiting ability has got to be really good. Yikes-amundo. This is the thing about BC, is very survivable because of that smoke. And there's how many of these on the field? 7? I mean, at this point, like, he can just do F2 click and he's gonna win. Oh, yikes. I didn't even think about that, dude. The targeting jammer. I like that, though, because freaking targeting jammers are, like, the most criminally underused thing. Like, No Fun is doing some cool stuff with targeting jammers, right? But... You know what's really funny about that, though, A-Game, is that I was saying that Coalition BCs weren't strong, or Saban BCs weren't strong enough, you know? And now I'm really kind of eating my words there. Carrier going for a bit of a power drift outside of the map here. Cansedoristo! Nani? Well, he is gonna die. And so that's kind of the expected result of 3-0 for Orb, but it's really interesting the way that he chose to kind of like finish these out. I think Kitsune definitely had some holes in his play though that let Orb do some pretty insanely greedy things. And that definitely helped him, but I don't know. I feel like the potential was there for Kitsune to punish, but didn't quite go for it. By the way, this is what I was talking about the extraction zone. Like, it looks like he's in here. Looks like he's really in now, but actually he's out, right? So you kind of have to look at these things from the top down to really understand like what the radius is. But anyway, that's this cast done, I suppose.